Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our discussion on card artists, and more specifically, card artists that are going to be at Gen Con's art show this summer. This video will be featuring Amy Nagi, Nen Chang, Tran Nguyen, RJ Palmer, Dustin Panzino, RK Post, Omar Rayyan, Rob Ray, and Olena Richards. One thing to note, an artist that normally falls under this range is Mark Poole, but Mark has so many pieces he's going to get his own video. Work in this video will come from Magic the Gathering, Argent Saga, Dragoborne, Star Wars Destiny, Legend of the Five Rings, Lorcana, and World of Warcraft. These artists are all going to be going to Gen Con this summer, which is North America's largest tabletop gaming convention held in Indianapolis every year. There's tons of floor space, there's tons of different vendors. Really, there's something for everyone here. The part of Gen Con that these artists will be at is called the Art Show. This is a place for artists to have booths set up where they offer different products, things like originals or other works, but they also offer services like card signing. Artists typically do charge to sign your cards, and they might charge a little bit more if you want any of the special kinds of signatures, things like shadow signatures, or maybe you want little doodles with your signature. Things like that will cost a little bit extra. And with that, we'll just jump into the work from our first artist, who is Amy Nagi. Amy has 4 cards from Argent Saga, as well as 9 cards from L5R that we'll be looking at. I really don't know anything about Argent Saga, but there are a couple of borderless cards here, Citra and Ruka, that look like they would be fantastic options for her to sign for you. Amy's work for Legend of the Five Rings, they're all really beautiful. I really like the colors on A Mark of Heaven's Favor, but the other scenes are all really like action-packed and have a lot of cool stuff. They're all fantastic things for you to get signed by her. And our next artist is Nen Chang. Nen currently only has 2 pieces, both for L5R, and it looks like they actually feature the same character on them. So I think it'd be really cool to get the pair of them and get them both signed from her. Next up is Tran Nguyen. Tran has 12 magic cards right now, and what I really like about her work is her backgrounds. She kind of has this style where she does this foggy type of background, but there's enough in there that you can kind of look at it. It doesn't draw away from the focus of the piece, but you're able to kind of look back and see some really cool stuff there. On this first page, I really love the Eshki and the Andu over here on the right. Both of them have that kind of big draw for something exciting in the center of that, and then the background has that kind of foggy mystery to it. And this last page kind of has some stark contrast to it. You've got creepy clown vibes here next to an angel. Both of these pieces are really cool. And we'll move on to RJ Palmer. RJ just has 2 pieces right now, one for Dragoborne and one for Star Wars Destiny. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so obviously this one's cool. But I really like this dinosaur here. The way he uses light in it, the extra spines and things all over the place on this, looks really cool, would be great with a signature. The next artist is Dustin Panzino. Dustin has 13 pieces from Lorcana right now, and it's kind of cool because there's a mix of some of the classic films as well as some of the more modern films that his pieces are focused on. On Dustin's first page, I really like the Anna and the Baymax here, but pay attention to these chromacons because our next page will have more of those. Okay, on Dustin's last page, we have 3 more of those chromacons, so I think this would be really cool to get all 6 and get them all signed by him so that you have them all in the different colors. And we'll now move to RK Post. RK has by far the most pieces in this video. He's got 4 for L5R, 128 for Magic, as well as 16 for World of Warcraft. We'll start with his work from L5R. These pieces are all very different from each other, but I really like the Awakened Blade. There's something about it that's just so clean and very pretty. And now moving to RK's Magic cards. Anyone who's seen Magic cards over the last few decades is going to recognize RK's work here. What I really like, he's got actually 8 avatar cards. We'll see 4 of them on this first page. I think it'd be really cool to get all 8 signed by RK. This next page finishes out the avatars, and it also has our first borderless. His work, a lot of it is before We saw a lot of borderless and extended art and things like that, so he doesn't have as many as some of the other artists might. On this page, we have several older cards as well as a counterspell. Counterspells are always a popular one to get signed, of course. This page has a pair that might be cool. We've got Emissary of Despair as well as Emissary of Hope that I think getting both of and kind of storing them and displaying them together would be really cool. On this page, I really like the Fulminator Mage as well as the Inquisition art. There's just a lot of dark, kind of cool pieces here that any of these would look great, especially if you got like a silver signature on them. On this page, I really like Karn Living Legacy. The stained glass look behind is super cool. I think that would be a great option. On this page, I really like the full art view of the Memnite here. I think that would be really fun. Also, lands are always really popular, so we've got a mountain, super jagged, cool looking mountain here. This page has some more really dark looking ones. I like the art on Overseer of the Damned. I think that's a pretty interesting visually, the piece here, but could be great with the signature as well. On this page, I really like the Sitavarma and the Simic Sky Swallower. Both of those pieces are really interesting to me and really cool. On this one, we've got a swamp, but we've also got some really cool things. Some of these cards are different formats than a lot of them are, but I really like the story in the art of SWAT. It's just like smack the guy and he starts to dissolve, which is pretty awesome. Two that stick out here to me are the Zephyr Mage, because it's a sideways card, and then of course Thought Vessel being an extended art is also really, really great looking. This page has a ton of really great looking stuff. To me, I like the Viridian Revel, just because of how the shadows are handled here, the lighting, there's just a lot happening in it that really draws in your eye and a lot of interest to the piece. And this is RK's last Magic page. I really like Voices from the Void, as well as the World Gorger Dragon pieces here. I think they would be great to get signed. On our first World of Warcraft page, I really like the frame differences on Battle Mage Viara. I think that would be really cool with the signature as well. And this last page for RK has some really epic looking magical people, but I really like Moonshadow. I think this would look cool with a really light colored signature on it. And our next artist is Omar Rayyan. Omar has 39 Magic pieces right now, and he's got this really cool, interesting, whimsical style that's really quite unique. On this first page, there's just so much to look at. There's a forest, which of course is always great, but you also have a serialized card. So this Ayara is obviously another big candidate, but honestly, just you can't go wrong with any of these. On this page, the head of the homestead is just adorable, but I really like Kellen the Fey-Blooded as well. Those pieces are both really great options. On this page, I think Runaway Together is just so cute, but we've also got a lot of really great lands. I like this snow-covered mountain, or forest, excuse me. I also really like this mountain with the chair. And on Omar's last page, I really like the Odd Acorn Gang, as well as the Wood Elves. These elves just messing with this poor little monster. So great. Both of these have good stories in their pictures. Okay, our next artist is Rob Ray. Rob currently just has 8 Magic cards, but I'm hoping we see more from him in the near future. For me, on Rob's work, I think the most obvious and the coolest option would be to get all 4 of these lands from the Bloomburrow set that are seasonal. So we've got the same place in all 4 different seasons. Getting that as a set and signed would just be so cool. Okay, and on to our last artist for this video. We've got Olena Richards. She signs everything just Lena, so I think that's what she prefers to go by. She's got a lot of really amazing pieces in here, one serialized, so let's just jump into them. Lena has 59 Magic cards, but she actually has a couple of double-sided cards. This first page, we have one of those on it. I also really like the Banner of Kinship. I think that's a cool, cute one. But also notice the Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind. One thing I want you to notice here, there's actually 3 of these orbs, and I think that would be a really cool set to have signed. On this page, I really like Defense of the Heart, as well as Counterspell. I think it's one of the cooler counterspells out there, actually. You'll notice I skipped a spot here. You'll see why on the next page. Okay, here you have this set of 4 fairy rogues, which again, sets are really cool to get signed. We've also got this other piece that I really enjoy, the Flare of Cultivation. I really like how it interacts with the framing of the card that way. This page, we've got some really great options. We've got the last couple of those orbs of Dragonkind. We've also got a few that interact with the framing of the card. So I really like here Orum's Chant, as well as the Pearl Medallion. But these ones, I think it's just cool when they kind of pop out at you a little bit, almost 3D like in these cards. I think signed tokens are fun. So on this page, I like Plot as an option. I also think the Robe of Stars is just gorgeous. So some really great ones here. And on this page, we have Lena's serialized cards. Our card, Vanifar Evolved Enigma, I think is a gorgeous piece, whether it's serialized or not. We also have a treasure token, which is another fun option. And on our very last page of cards, I like the Wheel of Potential here. It's just very interesting looking, a lot of action going on, so to speak. Okay, and that does it for this video. As always, I have attached a spreadsheet which shows all of the cards, including links to their pages, so that you can find these, buy them if you need to make sure you can bring them along with you to Gen Con. Our next video will be Mark Poole. Mark has so much art that he has contributed to card games over the years, and it'll feature games like Flesh and Blood, Cryptic, L5R, Magic, my favorite Warlord, and World of Warcraft. So check back for that one, and in the meantime, go back and look at the prior Gen Con art show videos that we've created.